Hello, Malcolm here. Welcome to Tuesday Teaching Tips 296, part 3 of the Speaking to All Generations. And I'm sitting here in my hotel room in Oklahoma, having just come back from the first session of the conference that I'm here for, the Generation Z, the ongoing conversation. And I wanted to get down some thoughts and ideas before, well, I'm very tired and very jet lagged, so I hope I can get something comprehensible down. I have turned off the fridge in my room here because it was making a racket, and the aircon, so hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. Hopefully it makes sense. This was a fantastic talk. Honestly, if I was to pack up now, get on a plane and come home, the whole effort of being here and the cost would have been worth it for this one talk. If you get a chance to listen to it, go to the Teleios website. You might be able to log in and watch it, or you might have to pay something, but it's worth it. This talk on Gen Z and cultural intelligence was one of those shifting kind of talks. Makes you see the world a bit differently. And in this talk, Dr. Rodrigues was talking about cultural intelligence. Now, you may have heard of emotional intelligence. That's become a big thing over the last 20 years in organizations, in the world, and in the church. And I think very valuably and very worthwhile understanding that. But this is cultural intelligence. And Dr. Rodrigues has worked a lot in the Hispanic and Anglo world of understanding the cultures between Hispanics and churches and Anglo sort of churches and culture. And you may say, what's that got to do with generational change and generational understanding? Well, the point he was making is that generations are different cultures. So for somebody like me at 62 years old, to say to somebody who's 25, when I was your age, or by the time I was your age, is insulting and unhelpful, because I'm assuming that my generation is the same as his, or my culture. My generation is a culture, really, and my culture is the same as his culture. And that would be tremendously insulting if I was to say that of somebody who was from Africa or the continent or the Americas or the Philippines or the Indian subcontinent. That would be insulting to say my culture's like your culture, because it's not. But similarly with the generations, our cultures are not the same. They're different. And that's the beginning of where we've got to start there, of accepting that, so that we can then begin to learn, to be curious about the differences in our cultures, and then how to connect and how to support one another, so that I, of an older generation, can be of genuine, valuable support and help to the younger generation. Not trying to control them, but also not brushing them out of my hair and like, well, I guess I've got to get on with it then, it's up to them, they'll have to figure it out. No, there's got to be a way for surely all these generations to bless each other, just as much as different cultures bless each other, don't they? A multicultural church, one that's genuinely united as different cultures but working together harmoniously, is a tremendous witness to the world. Similarly, surely, the different generations in church, whether the boomers or the millennials or the Gen Z or whoever, them working together harmoniously and actually making each other better for Christ has got to be our goal. But we don't get there by pretending like we're all the same, we're just a bit different in age, but understanding we have different cultures. And that is the core of what I think Dr. Rodrigues was getting at tonight, if I've really understood that, and others that were there may wish to nuance that or correct me if I'm wrong. But I think that's kind of what he's getting at. And he used a number of examples of the way that Paul adapted his presentation of the gospel to different places in Athens or in Thessalonica or Corinth or Rome, or to illustrate how he was somebody who did become all things to all men, 1 Corinthians 9, in different cultures, and how that's the same principle for all of us today, is to become different people to help the generations to work together and be able to help each other. So I've got my notes over here, so excuse me as I look away to my screen here. I'm not going to try and read all this. I made more notes in this one talk than I think I might have done in all the talks of the last conference I went to. I mean, I've got loads of notes here, so I'm going to spare you all the detail, but I will give you just some key points here that struck me, and then you can think about it and let me know what you think, and I'll continue to post more things tomorrow. So cultural intelligence, getting to really understand this, it requires drive, number one. Okay, so I've got to be motivated. If I'm going to develop cultural intelligence, I've got to have my own inner motivation so that I can persist in difficult, perhaps conflict conversations or uncomfortable conversations where my ignorance of another cultural generation is exposed, and I may find myself having to encounter and deal with things I really don't understand from a different generation. So there's got to be a drive there. Do I love that generation? Do I really want to understand? Then so you start with your drive, and then there's the growing in knowledge about another generation, another cultural generation, if you like. The understanding about how cultures are similar and how they are different. Do I understand what culture is and how it works? Do I know what differences actually matter? Learning how to read an intercultural situation, improving my grasp on the ways cultures differ, understanding the best ways to use intercultural understanding, then strategy. So we start with drive, and then there's knowledge, and then there's strategy, how to use this knowledge I've acquired. Planning for multicultural interactions, or multi-generational interactions in this case. Knowing how to make sense of culturally diverse experiences and to plan. Learning how to use cultural understanding effectively as a strategy, and especially in leadership. And then after that comes action, which is about behavior. So we have drive, then knowledge, then strategy, and then action and behavior. The ability to adapt when relating and working in multicultural context, here multi-generational contexts. And I won't go into the detail here, but it was just very, very helpful. And again, Paul in Athens is a good example of that. So I think I'm going to stop there for the moment for tonight and leave that with you, because this isn't just about learning a few tips and tricks. This is actually about having a heart for the next generation and the generation after that. None of us are going to be here forever. And what kind of legacy do I and others want to leave? If we want to leave a legacy for the next generation, we're not going to do it, or through the next generation, we're not going to do it by telling the next generation how to do church. We're not going to do it by controlling that next generation. And we're not going to do it by just letting them get on with whatever they want to get on with. There's got to be engagement. I need to learn, and I have some things that I think the next generation or two need to learn. Not that I have all the knowledge, but I have some experience. We've got to help each other with all this. So I'll stop there for now. Wonder what you think about this. What do you think about the idea of different generations being like different cultures? And if that's right, how does that affect the way that we approach being together, worshiping together, learning together, leading together, and truly helping each other be the best we can be for Jesus Christ? Where is Jesus in this? Where is Jesus in this? His willingness to leave one culture in the heavenlies to be in another culture, ours. What does that say to us about his willingness to adapt, to learn, and to be alongside and together with people very different from him, so that he could bless them? What do you think about that? Well, let me know. Drop me a line, malcolm@malcolmcox.org. If you can join in at the conference in some way or other, please do. I shall be posting more thoughts tomorrow if I get the time. And until then, I pray that you have a good day, whatever generation you're in, whatever culture you're in. And remember, keep calm and carry on teaching. God bless.